Hello and welcome back to the Engage Shed. You find me outside because this video is going to be my layout tour. So I thought I would start off with where the layout is. So my layout is in my shed, hence the name the Engage Shed, not just because I like Class 66s, which I kind of do a little bit, but a lot, I've got a few. But never mind. So the Engage Shed was based on the Engage Shed. So if I spin you around, let's start the tour. So the shed is an 8x8 shed. I've had it about 10 years now. How exciting. We do need to do a few running repairs because it has been moved in its lifetime. So I could have this extension built. Look at me, posh with an extension. Anyways, so I did actually shift the shed 2 years ago. Me and my dad, I got a toe jack, jacked it up this corner, put it on some handrail tubing, pushed it along, rolled it along and dropped it back down with railway still intact, and it survived, but we're getting a bit of leakage, a few bits of that, so I've got some bitumen paint there. When the weather dries up, I'll get that round to it. So follow me around the corner. Excuse the mess. Gets a bit messy around here. Beware of the trains. Little trains cause lots of damage. So here is the shed. Now, apologies if I get a bit high, because last night I was actually tidying the shed up and I knocked a full glass of whiskey over with the Hoover, which was perched there. Probably not the best place to put a coaster, but this is where we've got it. It's my new purchase, look. Free advertising, not naming who. But it didn't half stink of stale ale in here. But it smells like I've had a good night out. And really, I just poured it all over the layout. So first off, in and out, and my lift bridge. This nice little board I've got on the back folds down. It's kind of my makeshift workbench because I haven't really got anywhere to do any work in here because I've filled it all with railway. So that just unscrews, well, unhinges, folds down. I've got a piece of wood and a dowel as a support which goes through the hole just to support it. It rests on here and that covers that. So that's that. Right, I'll lock the door, and this is my lift bridge, which allows me to get in and out without crawling. Just lower that down. She's a tight fit, but she fits. So I'll move that off. So I'll start with this corner, which is my main station. Yeah, I've kind of free platform station. I hide a lot of it. One, so I don't have to build a whole platform and a whole station. Two, it also means I could build my little town section, which is still not finished. None of this is finished. On top of it, and yeah, so there we go, station. Got a few street lights up here in my town, which do work. Lidl. Got lights in the buildings. Right, so the main lines. So I've got, the idea is a main line and a branch line. So I've tried to maximise the space I can when running space, using some inclines, which I'm not too chuffed about. They cause a few issues, but if I didn't do that, I'd end up with a proper tail chaser and it'd look a bit, it'd annoy me. I think there is other options I could do with looking at a long slow figure of 8 or a dog bone, thanks to Redhampton and Finbar Engage for them little tips and ideas, because we have been talking about if I should redo. I'm very tempted, but I've put a lot of work into this, but it is a bit haphazard in places, so we'll see where we go. But anyway, for now, I recently remodeled track layout onto the entrance. We've got the main running line, which runs along the back, around this bend, across my double track bridge, under a tunnel, which allows the branch line to come over the top. It then comes out the back, where I've got a hidden away set of switch points, which if I'm taking stock in and out of the fiddle yard, I couldn't really get it in here without remodeling this, so I've hidden them away down here so I can just get stock changed over tracks. Comes around and starts coming up the first up or down this first incline to give me some level difference, around out the tunnel, back on itself, through this other scenic section, which is again back scene, still not finished, out through the tunnel, round down the incline again, back around here where it gets a bit messy track wise, out onto the bridge. We've got a set of points to get me into the fiddle yard, a set of points for changing the track over on the branch line, back under the tunnel into the station. Similar with the branch line comes up around below the cliff face with my nice little church on it. Quite like the little cut off church. I thought that was a good idea, putting in that corner. Still a lot of detail to add, but hey ho. Up the hill, round the bridge, over the bridge, through the level crossing, which works. So I've got a few power issues at the moment. I've probably snagged a wire somewhere down here, which I always tend to do. Around this area, across this very precariously bit at the front. If we get any derailments here, it's a disaster. Over the main line, into the branch line station, a little village town station. I don't know why that's sat in the middle. Can go there we go, right way around. We've got a TMD stroke heritage yard. I keep changing its actual use. I never know what to do with it. I've even got a few network rail vans in there, so it could be a network rail yard with a nice steam locomotive on the back of a trailer. So kind of haven't figured it out yet, but it's been like that for about 8 years, so it's not going to change anytime soon. Again, I've got the old disused locomotive there, again, which more hints towards a heritage yard, but hey ho, rule one, do what I want. Anyway, round the back, underneath, down this slow, lazy, very messy, very shoddily laid track incline. Got a bit of a kink there that I need to sort out, but it still runs. And then down this incline, which does get quite steep, so on the branch line I can only really run DMUs. Can't really run long stock of trains, as it either run away, derail, or don't make it up if they're going in one direction. Down to join the main line, and again round through, across the lift bridge and into the town. It's had a few track reworks not that long ago, probably a year now. I say not long ago, it's probably a year now. I added this fiddle yard because I wanted to get some storage space. I did have a bit of a fiddle yard over here. You can still see some remnants with these points fixed down. Where I used to come in off the main line here into a dead end fiddle yard, you can still see where the track was. But there was no way out. Sometimes reversing trains out doesn't work well, so I've always wanted a decent fiddle yard, so I thought I'd build a scenic one in the only space I could, because I had a bit of a yard here again that was an in from there. It came in from there where that old bit of track is that I've left in, which I need to cover over, get some grass growing over it. But I fancied a fiddle yard around here, and that makes that up. So My little bridge, some scenic items. We've got the church on the hill, a little farmyard here, a few horses in the field. There was more than that. I think a couple have been hoovered up. My bridge, this is my first and only ever attempt at water, which if you look at it from above doesn't look too bad. Look at it down here, you can see where I poured 2 layers of resin, but this resin, the Woodland Scenics resin's held up quite well. Not had any issues. It is going a bit opaque, but water's never brilliant. This is going a bit not as white as it was, but move the track and the tempe off, but track rubber and tempe off. But I don't know, I was quite pleased with it for a first attempt at water. I'm sure I'll get better at other points. The ford is a bit wide, to be quite honest, and a bit rubbish. I could have done better with that, but the idea was I wanted a ford where the water ran. These little bits were where the water's meant to go through and fall down. It kind of worked a little bit. It could have been better. I could have painted this a better colour. We're kind of stuck with it now. Yeah, we've got a little cottage, and then we've got a little cottage up here with the level crossing, a few sheds in the garden, engaged sheds within a shed, and then sometimes the odd shed runs past it as well. And then, like I said before, we've got the maintenance depot here, the fueling point, or the heritage yard, whichever it be, a few houses, a few shops down here. Station, kind of I've plonked over here and have a footbridge. Not very disabled friendly access. It's not got very accessible access, but that's that. Control power. So this side was fed off a transformer. The points still are, they're fed off a 19 volt transformer, which is a bit too heavy for all the lighting. All the lighting was fed off a 12 volt transformer, which I bought off eBay or Amazon. eBay, I think it might have been. Can't remember now. Anyway, the wire had pulled out of here, and then the one day I was working on it and it went bang with a massive pop very recently. So I nearly blew the shed up and electrocuted myself. So at the moment we've got no lighting over this side. The points still do work, he says. I think. It would do if it were plugged in, but I should have tested this beforehand, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's because I switched it off, not on. There we go, look. Points all nicely work off the switches. Now, for the control for the switches, I am upgrading. I've got my nice new Yamarock YD710 command station, which you might have seen in other videos. Underneath I've got my point accessory decoders for the solenoid points, and I'm currently installing all of that. So at the moment I have a few round here wired in, a few round here, this set wired in, but I'm not getting enough voltage to it at the moment to drop it, so that needs sorting. These switches for the fiddle yard will be replaced with my YD, so everything will run off my YD700 on the iPad and eventually iTrain. Lighting power, just a transformer that slides out of here. A couple of CDUs on it, the transformers at the back. A CDU on it just to throw the points. We've got lighting in here. If I plug my shed in, just on little push clips. I've got lighting in the traction depot. Nice little floodlights on the station. And the town again is exactly the same as the maintenance depot. That is on a little push clip. For emergencies, lid will lift out, and for even bigger emergencies, this whole section does lift away, which allows me to get nicely near to the track for cleaning and the obvious derailment, which we have. So I think that is about that for the layout tour. Obviously this is still my shed, so I have to store all my tools because I ain't got another shed, so everything is in here. The eagle eye viewers might spot something here in a hexagonal shape. It might be for a competition that's run by a certain company called Rail Stuff. But that's enough of that, because we don't want anyone copying. I have no illusions of winning this competition, especially with who I know is entering it. A certain few people I know is already entering it. So there is no illusions of me winning, getting to the NEC, but I am just having a go for the crack and see if I can do something a bit better with my scenery skills than what I have done here, which is half done. So that is that, I think. Thanks for watching, if you've bothered to watch all 16 minutes of me rabbiting on about where my layout is, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.